And just like they do when they pull a new character, just like they do when they get a Deathless Arena run, people love to post their accomplishments, aka achievements, on the sub. And when those builds started just being taken from the wiki, those people had no idea why they just put Vantage on Hector. Those people had no idea why they just put Triangle Adept on Cecilia. They would just post the generic build, and they would say, hey, check out my Cecilia build. And nobody would care, because anybody with understanding of the game knew what was going on. And then people without an understanding were like, whoa, why'd you do this? When to many people it was really obvious. And the quality of them really went down, because it went from unit builds being posted were mostly experimental and for the purpose of sharing, hey, this is what I did and why I did it. It was, hey, I copy pasted this, check me out, give me karma. And that's not really good content, especially when you're sharing a unit build and somebody with even less amount of knowledge might try to look at that build and go, hey, can you tell me why you did this? They can't, because they just copied it from the wiki and they have no idea why they did that. So
you forgot a very important thing, is that back then, when we were all super duper scrubby, we didn't know how to play the game, but like the game's so figured out. We don't even need, for example, whenever what's-her-face, Nephany came out with Wrath, people already were like, hey, that synergizes with Lyn, because she already needs to be at minus 50% for Desperation. They didn't need to post it and try it. We can just 3D-craft now. We don't need to...
There's a lot of tools that we have now to like the battle simulators that people can just plug the numbers into and know, hey, this will work with this character, this will work with that character. It was a lot more casual back then too. So that whole shift in the content of unit builds eventually caused us to say, you need to have a description. And the point in saying that you need to have a description was to get rid of those people who were posting copy-pasted builds because they don't know what they're talking about, so they can't post a description. And at the same time, for those people that were looking at unit builds and trying to continue to be inspired by them, it would prevent them from having to ask questions. At least the real basic of questions, like, why did you do this? So that worked okay. And as I touched on earlier, it continued to degrade. Those descriptions tend to not be the top comment. We can't pin those. Like, you'll see moderators pin a comment to the top of a thread. We can actually only do that to our own comments. I can't even do that to another moderator's comment. I can only do it to mine. So we can't pin those comments to make them be there. We can't even have auto moderator pin that. I tried for like 3 hours to get auto moderator to copy that comment and paste its own copy of it, and I couldn't even get that to work. So then we landed on the current solution, which is you have to post it as a text post. That's basically where we are now. So the reason we did that is we thought that we could encourage more discussion by making sure that the first thing you saw was the information about the build. We did that partly because it raises the quality of those unit builds, but also because people have been begging and screaming for less memes, more intelligent discussion for forever, basically. And unit builds were like the perfect opportunity to capitalize on that. The problem is that it's just the way Reddit works, but it's so much easier to look at an image, digest it, and move on. It takes way much less time to do that than it does to read a text post. So where we did have some players who could look at a unit build and understand what was going on there, why, like, they realized the value to the skills. Like, to those players, that's now just an accomplishment post because nothing is worth discussing, they already understand. But at the same time, how do I explain this? So those posts essentially take longer to digest because you have to read the description. Because of that, they get upvoted less. Because of that, people don't seem to like them as much because they're not getting attention. However, what we have noticed since we've made the change from just requiring a comment description to requiring the post as a text post is that despite these posts are not getting as many upvotes, they're actually getting similar or more amounts of comments. So it's kind of a win, but we still know that there's a huge opportunity. We want it to feel rewarding when you take the effort to build a unit and then share an interesting build. So we're trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. We're going to rely on data from our demographic survey, which we've pimped like 4 times now, to give us a better understanding of what you guys want, what you guys think is more useful, and we're probably just going to land on whatever you tell us at that point. Because the problem is there's not a good solution to the problem. The ideal solution would be for Reddit to allow you to upload an image and then also display like a comment with it, which I don't understand why they don't do that. That would just make
you
so
can't
much
do
sense.
text and image posts. I don't know why you can't either.
Yeah, it's honestly, it doesn't even make sense that you can't do that. But if they ever do implement that, I can pretty much guarantee you that we will immediately switch to that format. Just because having that thumbnail when you're looking at it is super helpful to letting you digest that post. At that point, the people who can just look at the build and see the skills on the unit build page know what's going on. The people who want to read the description can read it. It's right there at the top for sure. It's not buried by a meme comment, and that would be problem solved for that. So hopefully we'll get that one resolved with the demographic survey, and based on what you guys tell us is what we're going to end up doing at this point.
Another rule I want to talk about is, what is it? I think it's Rule 6, I think it's Rule 6 now, with the no low effort posts. We really cranked down on memes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we used to... See, that's another thing. I keep talking about this anti-mod sentiment. The one thing you'll see them talk about a lot is that Reddit doesn't even need mods because the upvote system will filter out all the things that shouldn't get upvoted. See, the problem is that's not true, and people upvote all kinds of things that have no business getting upvoted. As you could see with the subreddit state a couple months ago, or memes everywhere, and not even good ones most of the time, really. So I can't stand when I see that, because I've seen what happens when you let karma decide what gets to the front page, and people don't vote the way they should. Let's put it that way. I can't tell people what to upvote, and they upvote things they like. Problem is they have shit taste. That's what the problem is. And this month in particular, we had a bit of an issue because we cranked down on memes. So because we keep removing all the really bad memes for you all, there's less meme posts, and the game's already figured out, so there's not a lot of discussion posts anyway. Quick question posts get rid of all the question stuff, so the sub isn't just a fat guide. And then what else? The Grand Hero battles have megathreads, which is perfect for it. Voting got into megathreads too. So really, the only thing that really can get posted is fan art and memes. Except for we cut out all the memes, and then it turned October, and October is like a international holiday for fan art. So like for probably all of October, we're going to see a lot of fan art reach the front page, and it didn't used to be that way. But them's the breaks. That's consequences and actions, and however that stuff works out. So if you don't like fan art, I got some bad news for you.
It's only going to get worse.
We can't fix that. I can't tell people what to submit, and some of the people I'm talking to right this very second disagree, but the game is so figured out. It's already not a deep game, and it's been out for like a year almost now. What do you want to talk about? We get new skills every 2 weeks, and we only get 4 of them, and we get 8 units every month. And I mean, we just went through a 3-week-long content drought where the only thing we got was the Dancer banner. But we already finished talking about that the day after it came out. We got the trailer, we got the characters, we got stats, we got potential builds, and that was it. That's old news. We already know you can put Grand Raven on an Ego. We got it figured out. So I mean, if you came to this game for discussion, you missed it, bro. It was great. But we don't need, the majority of people don't need to talk about it anymore. We already got it.
I will point out, too, a lot of people that are looking for discussion, if you haven't joined our Discord server, there's a ton of discussion that goes on there. You can hop in there pretty much anytime and just get info on discussing stuff. There's all kinds of different channels for talking about arena and just the game and team building, all that kind of stuff. If there's a specific aspect you want to talk about the game, there's probably a channel for it. So if you don't like the memes and you do just want to discuss the game, you might want to hit up our Discord server if you're not in it already.
It reminds me a lot of on Pokemon Go. I keep talking about, even though I say I don't like talking about. The game's not deep, so
No.
After about a week, and we already had everything figured out. It was all fan art and memes.
Something I'll add in too when you talk about the fan art and why it's always on the front page goes back to what I was saying a minute ago, how it's really easier to digest a picture rather than it is to read a text post. So I don't know if you guys realize this. The way there's this misconception, and people that say, oh, just let the upvotes decide. That's what the upvote and downvote is for. You don't need to remove my post. If people like it, they'll upvote it. If they don't, they'll downvote it.
Oh God, I'm getting triggered just hearing you say that.
The reason why that system is bad is because that is oversimplifying the way the upvote and downvote system works. So it's not about how many upvotes that your post gets, whether or not it's successful. Although it kind of is, it's more about how quickly it gets those upvotes. So if you make a post and it immediately gets like 3 or 4 upvotes, that's legitimately all it can take. Your post can appear at the bottom of the front page. And then when it's at the bottom of the front page, because now it's where more people can see it, it's more likely to get more upvotes. And then
it's that kind of virility. It is viral. That's the word for it.
So it's a lot easier to get an image post to the top of the front page, especially because when that post is posted, it takes less amount of time to look at an image and hit the upvote button than it does to read that text post and hit the upvote button. And that can legitimately make all the difference in the quality of a post. Like if you had a text post that was, some kind of equal merit to an image post, the image post would just dominate because it would take so much shorter of a time for people to digest that content and upvote.
Which is why it was so serious when we had that downvote brigade happening.
Yep.
And we had to act the way we did. Because it really does. You want to talk about censorship? That's how you do it. You get 10 people to downvote a post right when it gets made, and you link it, and you tell other people to downvote it, and you mention downvoting posts you don't like, and you link those.
Bad, MK.
You really can.
Bad.
And if you don't think that's against the rules, I might just ban you because I'm tired of hearing it. Okay, so I won't do that, but still.
In conclusion, we talked a lot about the sub. We talked a lot about why we have the rules in place. We talked a lot about the demographic survey is going to be coming out soon TM. We talked about overall just a lot of different things about the community, and we just want to say that we also thank you guys for sticking around the community through thick and thin, and we do care about you a lot. And also, as a final touch, join us for Extra Life on November 4th. We're going to have a lot of stuff. Please donate. It's for the kids, for the great cause, and instead of using your money to summon another Bartra when you're going for that green Inigo or Azura or whatever, instead use your just $5 or however much you want, put it into donations. It means a lot to all the kids. It means a lot to me, and overall, it would be a great time.
That about wraps us up. Thanks for joining me on the podcast, boys. I know I'm hard to work with, but you guys put up with it. Special shout out to my mans Andis.
Hello.
And darkdogdemon.
Heyo.
And Hex.
Hi. Or I should say bye.
Yeah, bye's the word. Join us next time where I'll have different moderators and we'll talk about the same thing. Or not the same thing, but we'll probably be ranting about how much we dislike you people.
Please don't.
So stay tuned for that. No, trust me, I won't do that. But join us next time. Because it's going to be a fun time. Or at least I'll have fun editing the podcast for 7 hours. Bye!